The key themes around collaboration that we have been discussing are around time and resources. Time meaning the time we had to implement this collaboration, but also the staff, the money, the funds that we had, but also the support that we had from our different management teams. We also had an area around structures and plans. Were the structure clear? Were the tools available for us to be able to implement and collaborate effectively? And then we also had an area around communication. What was our communication plan? How did communication work among the different partners? And in this regard, there are so many positive things that came out from this collaboration, from these different themes. And the positive things included support from our different management teams in terms of allocating resources, that is staff. Commitment from the leadership teams in terms of listening to our progress and reviewing it and giving feedback. So the country directors would meet occasionally, at least in Uganda, and I think I had another country, was it Ethiopia, also say the same thing. So we had our country directors meeting 3 monthly, biannually, to listen to our progress, review it, and provide feedback. This helped us to work together more effectively, but also involve even more partners that were not involved in a JOFA implementation, originally by design. When it came to time, we had limited time because of the COVID-19 pandemic and its restrictions, but we improvised. We used technology and met online. We shared documents online. We decided on technical approaches online and did trainings. Child-friendly accountability, for example. We had about 3 trainings online just to make sure that everyone was on the same page and understood how to work with children meaningfully in a very structured manner and derive impact from it. When it came to time as well, the time resource was limited, but with the allocation of staff from different projects, with clear plans, clear structures. You see, you may implement, but if you don't have clarity, it is very difficult. So if you have technical approaches that are well designed, evidence-based, and everyone is implementing with uniformity, it is very easy to pass on the right message to the community with quality and even have wider impact across the implementation areas. That point is very important, because if you implement alone, the impact is very little. The reach to the community is little. But if you implement the technical approaches more widely, then you reach even a wider population of the society. The opportunity in this would be, one, with the JOFA project, we already have something going on. So even if the JOFA project was to pull out, what will happen with the advocacy milestones we have made? I think it's an opportunity where the 6 agencies can take advantage and just progress with what the project has already laid a baseline on or made some few building blocks on. So it's just a matter of grabbing that opportunities and scaling it up. We might, yes, have issues to do with budgets. Maybe people feel they had not budgeted or fundraised for it. However, within our organization, we still have other projects or support maybe advocacy. So maybe it's just a matter of figuring out whatever being done under JOFA, can it be pegged to another project, and then it can still continue, rather than when we pull out, then whatever all the effort we have put in just goes to the waste. So for me, I'm seeing an opportunity and also like a sustainability plan in terms of whatever is already ongoing in terms of advocacy, the other organizations and the JFA members can tap into it and just progress with it. JFA is a force. I mean, I want to imagine 5 years from now, depending on how much we have done in the 5 countries where the project was already implemented, and the many countries who are already joining the alliance. I want to imagine there's so much we can do together. And it's just a matter of just tying the loose ends
in terms of collaboration. So I think the question will be, how do we move on? How do we go to the next step so as we can become this big force? Even if you go to countries, other countries which have not implemented the project, they still know that JFA still exists. I work for one of the organizations, and maybe I had a buy-in to the idea of collaboration or working together. Then I leave and someone else comes in that they don't carry the vision. And I don't know how we need to do about that, because not every employee would carry that vision, So I'm just looking at, if we had a staff turnover, and especially the key people towards collaboration, what happens? Does that mean that that organization will not participate? So I feel like maybe we need also to be strategic on who do we give the forefront role in this collaboration, especially in the JFA. And so as we are able to be in a position that even if they also leave, as the next person is coming in and hand over, that the JFA vision is still also handed over to the next person. So I feel like if we had a lot of staff turnover, or rather people moving out of the 6 agencies, I feel like maybe the dream could die along the way.
Yeah, sometimes it's a big challenge. Actually, sometimes it may be an opportunity.
This particular process was new to most of us, because we've implemented programs before that didn't have a learning agenda as a main focus area. So the fact that in the joining forces, this was a priority area, and we were involved in terms of defining the learning agenda. It was a learning in itself for most of us. How do you define a learning agenda? How do you pick out the learning themes? What are the learning events, activities? How do you document? So it was a big lesson even to all of us at the point of deciding. It was a big lesson to all of us at the point of now we need to document. We know that the learning series was around 3 main areas of child participation, technical approaches, and collaboration. So at every learning series moment, there was a lot of coming to, first of all, of course, documenting at agents level, at a supervision area level, coming together at individual agents level. Most people have gotten to a point where everything that we're doing is that you have to reflect what lessons, what evidence. So it even changes the way we are managing programs. We are now going forward. We're designing programs, which is a big like a real value that this project is creating. For this project, because the learning was a continuous thing, there were adaptations on the way, which sometimes created a discomfort to some people. Because then when you're learning and you're adapting, it means that you have to change some things, and you have to stop other things and introduce others. If it's tools, you have to review tools, you have to introduce new tools. And so for someone who's not gotten into this process of learning, adapting, recalibrating, and so it becomes a distraction.
Yes.
It becomes a distraction. But then end of day, now when you come and look back, retrospective, you realize that, yes, the process was not one that someone will say it was a smooth process, one that I'd have loved to have. But when you look at it in terms of the value that it has and the value that it contributes to the whole aspect of managing project, I think for me that's very immense.
With adaptive management, you have to be prepared to actually upset people sometimes.
Definitely.
Because it remains change.
Yes.
It means, okay, we've learned this, we need to adapt now, we need to change. And sometimes that makes people uncomfortable.
Exactly.
You need to be prepared to do that. And I think the same applies for the introduction of common standards. That makes some people uncomfortable.
Definitely.
I have my own organizational standards. Why do I need these common standards?
Yes.
But what I've heard at the end of this project, despite all the resistance we had sometimes, the uncomfortableness, the pushback, is both for the standards as well as for the adaptation and the introduction of changes and new things, is that it was difficult at the time, but I'm glad we did it now.
Exactly.
Because it's made an impact.
Yes, it is true.
And with all of the standards that we introduced, all the guidelines and standards we introduced at the start of the project, and many people saying, this is too much. Why are you doing all of this?
Yeah.
It's too much communication, too many documents. And then a year and a half into the project, everyone's coming to me going, oh, thank God we had all those documents.
Yes,
Whenever I had a question of what we needed to do, it was there.
it is, yeah, definitely.
Whenever I was unsure about what format to use, it was there. So I think raising those standards is tough sometimes, but it produces results.
That's true.
And the same with adapting and learning and moving and changing. It means we actually get to achieve the indicators in that log frame.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have the chance to stop and reflect and learn, and we got to the end of the project and did our evaluation, we might have seen half of our indicators not being achieved.
Yeah.
As it is, our midterm review is showing really good progress, and
yeah.
we're very, very hopeful and confident that the final evaluation
Yeah.
show that we're achieving our objectives, we're reducing balancing activity.
Definitely.
Je pense qu'on peut retenir quelques défis clés. Ici, le premier a été d'abord un défi lié à l'harmonisation de nos pratiques, au partage de bonnes expériences internes et comment est-ce qu'on s'assure que tout cela est mis en échelle, que ce soit au niveau du pays, mais aussi au niveau global. Et ça, je pense, c'est un défi qui nous a beaucoup challengés parce qu'il a mis en lumière aussi le défi lié aux ressources humaines. Un tel processus requiert beaucoup de ressources en termes humains, beaucoup de ressources financières, parce que quand on parle d'harmoniser, il faut identifier dans chaque organisation vraiment les personnes clés qui peuvent contribuer à ce processus-là. Donc je pense que ces deux défis majeurs qui ont quand même été discutés, débattus, et qui, par l'expérience de la mise en œuvre, nous a montré qu'on pouvait surmonter ces défis-là